Good afternoon, everyone. David Paul speaking. It's about 10 to 3 here in the UK. That's 10 to 10 in New York City. The American market is running about 20 minutes odd. And it's been a good start after a lethargic down day yesterday. And as you can see, many more shares moving up than falling. Very healthy start to the day. All of the trends on VectorVest are up. The short-term trend, or what we call the primary wave, is up, and all the longer-term measures of the trend are up as well. Some of the momentum indicators are starting to look overbought. Our proprietary MTI, when it gets above 1.6, it's looking a little bit overbought, but nevertheless the trend's very strong, and lots of green on the front page of VectorVest. So if we have a look at the VectorVest market timing chart, here we are. And that's what it's done since April, and as you can see, there's the February high, and the market has pushed through that February high. Remember, the VectorVest composite, an equally weighted composite of the 8,000 odd shares that we follow in North America. So a very broad measure of the market, and certainly that broader measure of the market has done exceptionally well over the last week or so. So if we have a look at this over the last 3 months odd, that's the pattern, and I certainly would have been worried if we'd closed down below this low, because that would have been a 1, 2, 3 reversal, but that certainly hasn't happened, and the market looks strong. Now it's at a very important old high, but nevertheless our process is that we follow the trend, and the trends on all time frames are saying yes. It's been a difficult week. I got in fact taken out of some shares. I think I explained that in the previous video that I did based on that Pfizer announcement on Monday. But I'm looking again. I haven't got any US positions. I'm not sure whether I'm going to take any today or not. But I'm looking at several of these. The first that I'm looking at is CNC, which is a defensive share, a healthcare share that with any luck will in fact prosper under the president-elect, although I'm politically agnostic, folks. So this market has pulled back, and it's pulled back to that last old top. The numbers on VectorVest fundamentally are excellent, and the market and the overall market is rising. So if the overall market keeps rising, and as trend followers all we can do is to get in at a good level and keep our stops tight, and hopefully we'll make 3 or 4 times more when we're right than we lose when we're wrong. This market is being accumulated at this level for no other reason than this old resistance has become support. If I go into a longer chart, you can see that this in fact resistance has been in place for a hell of a long time here, way back since June. So we're now breaking. It's made a really good rising bottom, and I think that the chartists who are watching would in fact agree with me that this bit needs to be in fact reproduced. So that is 55 to 70 odd, so another $15 on the upside. So that could be quite a nice move. The risk to reward ratio would be perfectly acceptable there. So where do you get in? Well, I think that the brave could buy it now with a stop loss probably under these lows, and you're going to be right or wrong very quickly indeed. More conservative would want the market to break up through that old high. That would be a 1, 2, 3 reversal, and I think that would be a good place for the more conservative. Certainly at this level with a stop loss of $3 or $4 should keep you in that trade. You're going to know whether you're right or wrong. So the next one is AMD, and AMD as you can see, that percentage pullback in the Pfizer announcement was really small compared to some of the shares that really got hit the work from home type shares. So this is looking strong. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's made this fifth wave, and I think that look at the earnings per share rising here. Again, if you could see this moving above that high, then I think that we're in with a really good chance, ladies and gentlemen, of this bit repeating here, this one. And that would be a move from 50 to 90, and that's a $40 move. I got all of this one. This has been difficult, but it looks to me as if this pattern, this accumulation pattern, is in fact just about to break one way or the other. So if we were to wait for a break above that level with a stop loss down below that level, then the risk to reward in that is also very good. Okay. So that's something I'm looking at as well. Now this is pins. Now pins I've been in and out of quite a few times, and I would have been much better if I'd done absolutely nothing and sat in the damn thing. But you don't know that at the time. So I made good money on it on a couple of occasions. But now what's happened? This is really interesting because earnings per share is growing. It pulled back to that high. It went up, couldn't make a new high, and then it pulled back and ran those stops. That's a three-wave reversal, but it's also what Mr. Wyckoff, one of my mentors, would have called a Wyckoff spring. And this has gone up very nicely indeed, and I think that that looks like the best opportunity. If you get in now, the stop loss needs to be down at least under, it needs to be below 55 somewhere. The Vector Vest stop loss is way back at 49. I don't think it needs to be that far away, but it needs to be under 55 to give yourself a chance. So that one looks the best opportunity to me at the moment for me would be a spread bet in the American market. However, I don't think I'm going to do that much today. This is Amazon. Amazon is doing exactly the same as AMD. Look at this run, and we're now consolidating here, folks. I think that it doesn't matter what happens to this darn virus, whether it works or whether it doesn't work, and whether anybody can distribute it at minus 80C. I really don't know how they're going to roll that out in any sorts of volume, but my engineering days are long past. But as you can see, it stayed within this consolidation, and I think that people are ordering online. I live in a block of flats here in West London, and we have a porter downstairs, and you can actually hardly get through the door for Amazon boxes. So although we are in lockdown, I appreciate. So if this should break up, if the great traders, if this should break up, folks, then this bit should be in fact reproduced. So that's just a great looking chart. Now where do we buy in? Well, we could quite easily just buy somewhere down around here with a tight stop. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Again, the more conservative may want to see it break out of this little pattern. That's certainly what the technical analysis courses would suggest. I was hoping that it was going to go down and run that low, then that would have been a spring, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So aggressive people, I think that there's an opportunity in Amazon where it is. The more conservative who want a little bit of confirmation, then either look for a breakout of the pattern or wait for it to break above that level. Something came up very interestingly at the Guildford user group the other evening. They asked me to do a presentation on a proprietary vector-based tool called the Midas Touch. And the Midas Touch is a position trading methodology, and it's fairly clever in that Dr. Toledo designed this particular methodology to filter out the noise. And we've got a layout for it, and I haven't got time to in fact explain the layout. Let me take the price off. You don't need the price with this. At the moment, this are two long-term moving averages, not of the price of the share, but of a moving average of the price of a share. So the green line is a moving average, a short moving average of a moving average, and the red line is a longer moving average of a moving average. And a double moving average smooths out the price data and allows you to identify long and very, very tradable, position tradable trends. And this is a long-term momentum indicator. It's actually a 40-day moving average of our short-term momentum indicator RT. And these moving averages still haven't crossed. In other words, as the market went sideways, it still hasn't, in fact, given a sell signal here. And what's very important on this chart is that we're seeing a huge reverse divergence between that low and this. And if this indicator should break above 1, and I think that'll happen if Amazon breaks out of that little triangle that we're speaking about, that would precipitate a really, really fast move. The divergences on the Midas touch momentum indicator invariably predict exceptionally fast moves, and that tallies with the huge target that I have from price. In other words, this being in fact repeated on the upside. So I think that if things go well, and I think coming into Christmas worldwide, Amazon's going to have a field day. It's certainly something. The trend would need to change immensely in Notting Hill for that not to happen. So those are some shares that I've looked at, and I'll go through those and many, many more on our Q&A session on Monday afternoon. As you can see, the S&P up 27 points. I think the 3,500 level is vital for the bulls, and that seems to be holding very strongly. If anything, on a Friday we normally get a stronger second half to the day, but this breadth is really, really good. This is really excellent. In the UK, if we go to the UK, let's go home, and we had we've got it confirmed up at 2 days in a row. Everything is up, and the pointer is maybe not quite as strong as we would like after a bit of a down day yesterday. I see the FTSE was off 30 points the last time I looked, but nevertheless the trends are strongly up. I haven't done much, but still reasonably happy with my efforts. If I think I had the charts open. I have the shares that I'm holding. Well, I've sorted them by RT, and JD comes to the top at the moment. Well, let's just check that, because I may have got that in fact wrong. Yeah, GD the top. I've sorted it by RT. Those are the shares that I'm holding. I haven't done anything. Plus is hanging in there. We'll have a look at it now. There we go. And as you can see, the vaccine announcement did JD quite a lot of good. Shops open, sell more shoes, I suppose. It's that simple. The earnings per share starting to move up, but a bit of a ragged picture here, and it still hasn't broken the February high. Nevertheless, we've been in it, at least I've been in it since April the 7th, and it's up from 5 to 8, and you can't be bad to that in this sort of environment. This is a beauty. This is Sylvania Platinum. I know this mine so well, and that was the COVID debacle, and now it's moving up quite strongly. There was a really nasty run down here that scared the living daylights of a few VectorVest subscribers, but nevertheless I hope we got through it, and it looks to me as if this wants to punch much, much higher. The VectorVest valuation is 133, so that's looking great. This is Tristel, pushing on new highs. Earnings per share looks great. A 5-year picture looks wonderful there, so that's looking good. This is Halma. I've said it so often to you, this is a class act, folks, and up yesterday with the market, and as long as the general market hangs in, as you can see, the February highs are left well behind. One of the strongest relative strength shares on the UK market, and stood us in great stead over the last 5 or 6 years. Certainly when I come back from darkest Africa, it stood me in very good stead as Halma. That is Lion Trust, and doing its best to get through the February highs and making a darn good job of it here at those lows. That fib doesn't mean anything. And you can see the accumulation that went on. Not that liquid this year. So if big punters want to get in, they need to run a few stops. They need to scare off a few people. And as you can see, this big outside day here looking really good. So steady as she goes. And Cranswick, I was worried about Cranswick, but as you can see, it came off that 78% retracement, moving up quite strongly. Sometimes you got to sweat them out, folks. Sometimes you really got to sit and sweat them out. When this pulled back in 3 waves, I was reasonably happy, but there was a dodgy day or two. As you see, it went to a sell, and I had my son in Johannesburg watching the price on those days, and it actually didn't go below the low of the day where it hit its vector S stop. So we held it, thank goodness, and I should have bought more of it, but I didn't. Games Workshop. I suppose that the COVID announcement, people going back to work, less time to play games, does that hold any water? Certainly the earnings per share showing no signs of falling. Look at that, it's just great, that ramp up. So we're back at the £100 level. I think it looks solid at the £100 level. I think we need to watch this, folks. It's run a long way. The Vector S valuation is 70. It's sitting at 100. It went to 120 at one stage. And if they were to actually say that we're not going to do what we thought we were going to do, then it certainly will pull back. So I'll leave that in your own capable hands as to whether you want to bank some or whether you want to hold it. I'm holding it. Okay, I'm holding it. That's GB Group pulled back to that resistance. What else will it do? Okay, so that's just the way it is. Computer Center, again, it got knocked by the vaccine announcement, but I'm still holding it. Look at this earnings per share plot. Look at it over 5 years. We can see that the trend is strong. It looks a little bit overbought like everything else, but I'm certainly holding it at the moment. It's on a hold recommendation, and that was one of my late entries, so that is pretty much the only one I've got, I think, that's still underwater. Okay, bought into it somewhere in this consolidation, and that's Avon Rubber. We bought into it way back in April at 25. It's now over 40, and this flag-like pattern, normally good. Look at the earnings per share. This is a class act, probably a share that should in fact be carefully tucked away and forgotten about. Hilton Foods making a big base here, looks fine to me, and Team 17 out of the danger zone. It pulled back to that, where that resistance has become support, and I'm hoping, certainly with the earnings per share rising, that this is a major accumulation area. Invariably, if you see a market going sideways and earnings per share is rising, that when it does break, it breaks out with a little bit of gusto. Again, Team 17, gaming, people sitting at home, if they were working in the office, maybe they wouldn't use as much Team 17 kit. I don't know, but certainly it took a knock with the vaccine announcement. And that's Plus, again, took a knock with the vaccine announcement, but there was something in the results that people didn't like. But folks, it's sitting at this level. So if you look at this chart and you knew nothing about Plus 500 at all, and you really didn't know whether it was going to be affected by people working from home or people going back to the office, it's pulled back to the last old high. That's just what they do. Okay, that's just what they do. So that one at 14 has to be held. It clipped its stop just here. It didn't break down below the low of the bar that caused it to go red, i.e. Below its stop loss. So I've held on to it, and I will see what happens. So that's what I'm doing now. On Monday afternoon we have our weekly Q&A. That's at 1:30, and those of you that are not VectivS subscribers, if you would like a guest invite to that, then just email me, david.paul@vectorvest.com, and I'll send you off a link. I haven't talked about gold today. Gold is hanging in there. Those of you that are gold bulls, this is certainly below 1900 would seem to be a great place to get in. that momentum of the sell-off was very strong. Clearly, there was a great deal of a risk premium, a COVID risk premium on the gold price, and when COVID was seen to be going away with the vaccine, it came off $100 in a couple of hours. It's moving up this morning again, and if I see it closing above 1900, then I think that I'll have to buy in to some gold stocks. I haven't done anything yet. Just remember, folks, gold stocks are a long way from worry-free type investments. So back to the American market to see what's happening, and we're up 26 ticks, 35.63, and all looks good. If we have just a quick gander at the S&P 500 before we go, that's the SPX, and let's just get rid of the Midas Touch layout for the moment, and clearly I trade this myself, so I need to put up my bars. I always trade in bars, and make them a bit bigger so no fellow like me can see them. There we go. That's better. That's what this chart should look like. I like bars because when I started this in 1982, I hand charted the darn things. And have you ever tried to hand chart a candle? No. Bars are quite easy to hand chart. When I started in 1982, there was no opening prices. The stock markets of the world did not, in fact, did not record opening prices. So it was just the high, the low, and the close. And this is moving up quite strongly. I think if we could get above that high, that would be a major, goal. And that would be a little 1, 2, 3 reversal. Clearly, an awful lot of energy here. There'll be an awful lot of shorts here. It's going to take a while to get through that. But the short-term trend is up. Longer-term trend is up. And folks, we just got to sit in that. We don't know what's going to happen next. VectorVest is a process. The process has been around 30 years, and the process is all about knowing when it's safe to be in the market, finding shares with strong growth fundamentals that are rising. And at the moment, the market is positive. I'm fully invested in the UK, well, nearly fully invested in the UK, and I'll be looking to take some spread bets. I like the one on Pinterest best. That doesn't mean it's going to work, folks. Doesn't mean it's going to work. It's to me, it looks like a high probability, low risk trade. But I think that if AMD breaks and we see Amazon breaks, we could see really strong explosive moves from those two shares between now and Christmas. It's all dependent on this fellow. Okay, all dependent on this fellow. Thanks very much, folks. Have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you all Monday afternoon, 1:30. Bye bye.